Hey friends, so I wanted to give you a quick tutorial on Procreate. So I'm going to tap the Procreate app to open, and it shows stacks of all kinds of things I've already made. I'm going to start by pushing the plus sign in the corner and just make a screen size. That's one of the defaults, and it's going to open up to the screen size. I like to use 2 fingers to pinch in so I can see the whole palette. So to start with, I like to make a palette of colors that I want to use, and you can do that by clicking on the circle that is a colored dot. Mine's teal right now in the corner, and you can see all the palettes that I've made that come up. And there's also default palettes that came with Procreate. So if you need to make a new one so that you have a palette and some place to start, you can do the plus sign to make a new palette, and you can see it's totally blank. And I'm gonna make that my default now. I'm going to, at the very bottom, click on Disk, and I am gonna start by finding one color I really like. So let's say I wanted to go with a different teal today. I'm gonna do like a darker colored teal. And then I'm going to add that to my palette right down here by tapping on one of the empty squares. Now I'm gonna leave the circle in the middle exactly where it is, and then just start to rotate the disc on the outside around until I get colors that I want. So now I'm gonna do a darker blue. I'm gonna keep going till I get to like a purple. I want a pink. I want a red, an orange, a yellow. I think you're getting the idea, right? That's still orangey. I really want a yellow. Yellow, green, and then I'm back around to that teal. So I think I've got a nice rainbow palette now that I can deal with. Next, I'm going to choose my brush. You can see the brush is right here. I'm gonna start with making a rainbow in the background. So I'm going to choose all these different ones right here are types of brushes. And you guys, I haven't paid for or added any. I'm just using what came free with Procreate. Not free, but came packaged with Procreate. So I'm gonna start by doing airbrushing and just doing a hard airbrush. And I tap on that airbrush. I'm going to go to red. I'm just gonna go in order, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Over here, I can make my brush way big or teeny tiny. I'm gonna make it kind of big. This is how transparent it is. I don't want it to be transparent. I'm gonna do red, and then I'm gonna just go through the rainbow. Orange, yellow, green. You can already see, oh, Meredith, you missed a spot. Teal, but that's gonna be okay. Blue, and purple, and pink, and I may even make it back to red here. Okay, so next you can see I missed a little spot in the top. They're not all perfectly even. That's okay, because I want it to blur and look perfectly smoothed. There is a smudging tool here, this little finger that I could use to go in and smudge and smudge and smudge and smudge until it's nice and smooth. But that takes a lot of work. It is kind of satisfying and fun to do. But even faster and even easier is if I go to the magic wand in the corner here and go to Gaussian blur, and then just slide my finger or Apple Pencil across until it is nicely smoothed out. Done. And then I hit that again and it's nicely smoothed out. So now I have this really lovely background. I like to add texture on top. Over here next to the color dot, you can see I'm on red still, but next to that there's layers. And so I want that layer 1 to still be kind of in the background. I'm gonna add a new layer on top, and I'm gonna change my brush to be a spray paint, and I'm gonna do some flicks around the edges. I think I want my flicks to be pink. So just around the edges, I'm gonna put in some pink flicks. You always do a little more on the corners. Then I'm gonna also get maybe some yellow flicks of paint and add some yellow flicks on top. I think that looks good. I'm gonna add another layer because I like how that looks. I'm gonna add another layer, and something else I like to do is add in under textures. There's all these different cool textures. So I'm gonna add in some decimals is what they call it. And maybe I'll grab some teal. And I'm just gonna actually make it more transparent over here. And I'm gonna lightly add in some of those blue decimals. What's cool is if I don't like it and I decide to erase, here's the eraser at the top, I'm only going to erase that layer instead of all the other work I've done because I did it on different layers. And if I don't like any of that layer, I can use 3 fingers to swipe back and forth, and I can delete everything I did in that layer. I actually did like those decimals. I thought it looked pretty cool. So I'm gonna add some back in, not everywhere, but just lightly. I might zoom in and see like what that looks like in some different areas. I think that looks pretty cool to have that little bit of texture in, and not everywhere, just kind of a little bit. Uh-oh, I might have gotten a little too dark right there, so I can hit undo, undo, undo. Add a little bit more, but not too dark. And then I think it looks pretty cool, so I'm gonna stop. So now I've got this textured background that I think looks kind of 80s horrific and cool. I'm going to go to gallery. This is what I typically do. And then I'm going to select that piece of artwork and hit share. I'm going to share it as a PNG file. From here, you could email it to yourself. You could save it to your Google Drive. That's typically what I do, is go to my Google Drive. I upload it into my Google Drive account. And then once it's there, I can load it into any one of my PowerPoint presentations, not PowerPoint, my Google Slides presentations from there. I hope this was a fun tutorial and you're able to make a lot more different backgrounds like I love to make. Here's some other examples of fun backgrounds I've done. Grab the other backgrounds I made. I made all those light rainbow backgrounds that I'd love to share with you. Those are available at meredithacres.com.